folks, the Filipina P here, and today we're here at Symbio Wildlife Park. And if you think about Australia, the first thing comes to mind is exotic animals. So today we're gonna be seeing them. And I have here my good friend, Dion.
G'day.
G'day, mate.
Hey.
So thank you so much for agreeing to show me around Australia.
You're
and
welcome.
What are we gonna see today? What kind of animals?
So today we're going to see some of the expected, like kangaroos, koalas, hopefully get to cuddle one. We'll also see some beautiful birds like the rainbow lorikeets and other particular ones to Australia. We might even get time to see some penguins if we're really lucky.
Oh.
So we'll see how we go, and I'm sure there'll be a couple of surprises for me as well.
Awesome! I'm sure we're gonna have a blast. So before we even entered the park, I saw a beautiful wild bird and decided to offer it a grape. After a moment's hesitation, he was happy to accept and proceeded to peel the grape like a picky eater, going for the juicy center and leaving the skin. Now let's go see some amazing creatures. All right, so Dion, am I looking at a wombat or a wombat?
You're looking at a wombat.
Oh, okay, so I'm mistaken.
But
Those are not the ones that, you know, Luke Skywalker used to bullseye with his T-16 back home?
No.
Oh,
but they do say that back in prehistoric times there was a giant wombat, so maybe that was a wombat.
Yeah, that could have been.
Wombats are the only animal in the world to do cube-shaped poos.
Cube-shaped poos?
Yeah.
Poos?
Yes.
Does it mean that they have like a cube-shaped anus?
Maybe they are square, yeah.
Yeah. They're like a cookie cutter? Like
Yeah. I don't know, but it'd be funny.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And they use it then to mark their territory, so it won't roll away because it's cube-shaped.
Oh, wow. So they're nocturnal? They sleep?
Yeah,
in the morning?
mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing wombats have is their rear hips are like plated armor. It's really thick and solid. You can actually knock on it, and it's like that knocking on wood when you knock on it. I've actually seen a car lose a car tyre because a wombat just turned his butt to the car hit it, tyre went flying off, wombat waddled away. They're a burrowing animal, so they'll dig in, and when their butt's down at the back, no one's harming them, so they're perfectly safe.
So are they like using their bums to cover the entrance of their homes?
Yeah, exactly. The rear
so their arses are like, you know, up there, and then their face is like, okay.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
All right, so this is lovely Liz, and you work here at Symbio Wildlife Park.
I sure do, yeah.
And you handle koalas.
Yeah, so these are my pride and joy. So we have Manon here. He's one of our male koalas here at Symbio.
So what do they eat?
They eat eucalypt. So this is, you can probably smell it. Can you smell it?
Yeah.
It's very, very fragrant.
Yeah.
So eucalypt is probably about 98% of a koala's diet. 2% of it, maybe 1 or 2%, will be made up of other native plant species. So whether that be melaleucas and acacia, so like wattle and bottlebrush species, but they need to eat 10% of their own body weight in eucalypt every day.
Wow.
So that is a lot of food. That'd be like me eating 7 kilos of food, which is a lot. So hence why when they're awake, they've got to be eating just like Manon is right now. If he wasn't eating, he'd be asleep.
Oh, wow.
So easy life, really.
Yeah,
very easy life for him here at Symbio. If you would like to, you can come on over where I'm standing, get up nice and close to him and have some pats because he's quite a friendly little boy.
Hello.
So, Manon.
So how would you know if it's a male koala? The size?
So, size as well as, I don't know if you guys can see on his chest here, he's got like a little yellowy brownish patch on the chest there, and that's called the scent gland. And every male koala has a scent gland.
Okay.
And once they're mature, they will start to use this to mark out territory. So they basically rub their chest on the tree, and that's going to allow them for other males to know, oh, I better stay away because there's a big boy around here. But it also lets the ladies know how to track them down, because at the end of the day, it's up to the females as to who they decide to breed with.
Right.
Generally, the male that has, I guess, the best scent and the loudest bellow. Have you ever heard a male koala bellow before? It's an assertion of dominance, basically, and that's telling other males, again, stay away, telling the ladies to come and find him, and the loudest bellow will basically attract the females. So if you've got the biggest, most impressive bellow, you're probably going to have more girlfriends. But once they've come together to mate, that's it. the females and males don't like share rearing of the young. Mum is the only one that raises the baby.
Okay.
And the male will just go off and look after his territory and find plenty more girlfriends.
Oh.
And
I was going to ask if they're monogamous. No.
definitely not. No,
No?
it's just sometimes they will return to the same male every year, but it's not that they spend all their time together. They're just going to spend. He's having a little scratch. He's using his grooming claw right now.
Right.
So he's got a specialised little claw on his back foot that allows him to get into all those hard to reach places.
I can scratch it for you.
He's like, oh, actually, that kind of feels nice. Oh, you're gonna have a bellow. This is that bellow I was telling you about. Was that you? Was that your little baby bellow? Go on, give us a full one. Give us a full one.
Who's the
Do
big
it.
boy?
You're the big boy.
Who's your daddy?
This is only like a really baby version of the bellow.
Oh, come on, you can do it.
There you go, and he's starting all his brothers now. They're all starting behind. I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
I know.
He's just going for gold.
Go, you can do it, buddy.
Gosh, Manon. So noisy.
So how many female koalas do you have here?
So we have 7 females and we have 8 males. Some koalas absolutely adore attention. Others not so much. He loves it. You can see he doesn't mind a free back massage.
Oh, I'm a good masseuse.
Yes.
Well, thanks a lot, Liz.
No worries.
It was
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
and
same
thanks for
here.
coming in to meet Manon.
I
He's
know.
going to go back to sleep now.
I know. Now I'm feeling sleepy. Good nighty nighty. Nighty nighty.
Amazing.
I wish I could just keep him, just stuck him in. No. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. So who is this?
This is Squeeze.
Squeeze.
Yeah,
So she squeezes.
she cuddles people.
Oh, she cuddles people. Okay.
That's what I tell everyone though.
And she's from Southeast Asia.
Yeah, this species is from Southeast Asia, so she's a Burmese python,
Okay.
the 3rd largest snake in the world.
So how old is she?
She's probably about 7 years old now,
7.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
but she could live 35, 40 years,
Wow.
and she'll keep on growing for her whole life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can she swallow like a human being?
Actually, there have been cases of Burmese pythons eating people before from native villages and stuff.
Okay.
But not very often. But when you weigh 90 kilos, you can eat some pretty big things.
Oh, wow.
Did you want to have a hold?
Sure.
All right, so pop your hands out to the side like this. What we're going to do is pop her over your shoulder there, and you can feel how heavy she is.
Oh, yeah. I can even do like squats here.
And one arm underneath here.
Okay.
So open hand, gently supporting her
Okay.
sideways. There you go. And you can do the same
Here.
here.
Wow.
You are holding a Burmese python, the 3rd largest snake in the world.
And she moves. And she's sliding.
You can feel all the muscles inside of her.
Yeah,
and how
she's squeezing
strong
me
she is.
too. I think she likes me. Oh, wow.
Pretty cool, right?
She is a cuddly snake. Hello. Aren't you the prettiest snake I've ever
Gonna
seen?
give you a kiss in a
I know.
All right, we'll grab her off of
Okay.
you. Awesome.
What's the largest size they can get?
So they've been found at almost 7 meters long
Oh,
and weighing about 90 kilos.
90
Yes,
kilos.
so at those sizes, they're going to be as thick as a telegraph pole, so about this big. They eat food items 6 to 7 times the size of their own head in diameter. So her head's this big, so she could probably eat something like this big. So typically she would eat like a whole chicken.
It can
Yeah.
open that much? I mean,
Yeah, so her
flexible.
Her mouth just there
Yeah.
is all the bones are conjoined with tendons and ligaments, which
Oh.
are obviously very, very flexible. So that mouth can open 180 degrees straight up and straight down.
Wow, wish I could do that.
Yeah, you could eat. And if you have a look at the underside of her jaw,
Yeah.
there's a little slit in between. I'm not sure if you can see it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And that means that the 2 bottom halves of the jaw can work independently from one another to
wow.
swallow food
Okay.
underneath there.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
one there. That is fascinating. Wow,
cool.
she's a beauty.
Yeah, she is. And something really interesting about snakes is their pattern
Yeah.
is like a fingerprint. So
Oh.
it stays the same from when they're born till the day that they die. The only difference is it just gets bigger as the scales get bigger.
Oh,
so this
okay.
pattern will stay the same for her whole life.
Oh, do people use their skin for
Unfortunately,
bags?
yes.
And...
So over in Southeast Asia, where they're native to, there's a big problem with the leather industry over there. And because of that, this species is considered vulnerable. So we obviously highly encourage people here at Symbio to buy faux leather instead of buying real leather products. Because if there's no demand for it, then there would be no reason to cull snakes out in the wild.
True. Plus, if you're wearing something, you know, they wouldn't know anyway.
No one would know.
No one would know. Aren't you a pretty little thing? Oh, wow. Well, thanks. It's really nice meeting you. Squeeze. Squeeze.
She's ready to go to bed now.
Oh, 1990.
Awesome. Lovely to meet you.
Same here. All right, so Dion, let's talk about this bird.
So this one here is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo.
Oh, a cockatoo.
Yes, a cockatoo, exactly.
Okay.
They're one of the largest parrots that we have in Australia. All the parrots in the world evolved in Australia and then flew out to the rest of the world. So anything else that you've got, they came from here.
From here?
From here, yeah.
Okay.
They all evolved here and flew overseas.
Okay, so what's so special about them? Well, they're black.
Well, they're also very intelligent. So all the parrot family,
Uh-huh.
even though their brains are small, and we talk about bird-brained,
Yes.
they actually have 15 times as many synapses
Or like pea brain.
for the same. They have 15 times as many neurons for the same space as what humans are. So
Wow.
1/15 the size, they'll be just as intelligent as humans.
Wow.
They've been known to show love and affection, senses of humour.
Really?
Yep. Most of them pair bond for life.
Okay. Are they
yeah,
also sarcastic?
I think so, yes.
So those birds, they're all cockatoos or?
Yes, they're
They're
all
different.
cockatoos,
Okay.
but they're different breeds. So the top one up there is a gang cockatoo.
A gangbang?
No, get your head out the gutter. A gang.
Okay.
So it's a different breed of cockatoo, but it's still in the same big family of parrots.
All of them can mimic sounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them can copy.
Uh-huh.
So everything from the little budgie up to these big guys
Yeah.
will be able to mimic if you take the time to talk to them.
Okay.
Keep
and
repeating the
teach
same
them.
word.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But you're not really talking to them.
No.
Okay.
No, they're just mimicking and saying back to you whatever you want.
All right. Perfect.
And then I saw something I didn't expect. Penguins. That's about the last creature I associate with Australia, but I'm learning something new every day.
So penguins in Australia.
Yeah.
So they're tiny penguins.
They're very, very small. They are the smallest ones in the world. Quite refreshing to say, but little penguins are actually not endangered. They're in the
Okay.
least concern category. So we have a really healthy population. There's over 500,000 within just Australia. So that's not including the New Zealand population. So yeah, it's a really positive thing that we have so many of them, because if we saw a decline in that population for whatever reason, we would probably see a flow-on effect to other animals like seals and sea lions, and then probably that would have a flow-on effect to larger animals like orcas that eat those animals. So yeah, it is just like one big food chain and flow-on effect.
Okay. Well, they're called just little penguins. Just little penguins. That's it.
Yeah, well, a lot of people know them by a few different names. So
Okay.
some people might know them as the fairy penguin. Some people know them as the blue penguin.
Yeah.
Some people know them as a little blue penguin. And then some people know them as the little penguin.
So that's the official name.
The little penguin.
The little penguin. Okay, so you
Yeah.
can't miss that.
No, well, I mean, it's fitting. They are the smallest penguin, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks a lot.
No worries, that's absolutely fine.
So here we've got an Australian echidna, not to be confused with a porcupine, but they are similar. They eat ants, they are a marsupial, and so they do have a pouch, but because they burrow, the pouch faces backwards so they don't fill it up with dirt when they've got live young in there.
Oh.
They do curl up into a ball just like a porcupine, but they are of the marsupial family, so they are quite different. So just like porcupine, their spines will break off into your skin if they try and sting you,
Okay.
and and that's why they do curl up into a ball.
Okay.
But if you know exactly how to pick them up, you can pick them up very carefully by rubbing around with the spine, so they don't, and then they'll sit there and they got their paws up in the air and they're all quite cute.
Well, he's coming back again. Does he?
Yeah.
Does he do that like, you know,
Well,
like a security guard or something, guarding something?
we're actually pretty lucky to see him so active, because a lot of the time they just do stuff at dawn and dusk and
Oh.
sleep and hide during the day
Okay.
because they don't want to be eaten by an eagle or a kite or one of the other big predatory birds. Mm-hmm. And you can see the long snout on them because they eat ants and that's about it. So
Ants? Only ants?
Yeah.
Aw.
Well, termites actually. But,
Termites.
But
Okay.
they eat ants as well. So they're sometimes known as the Australian anteater.
Oh.
But yeah,
Maybe he's looking for a girlfriend.
I think he might be.
Yeah.
I mean, he came up to you, but then he saw me and ran off again. So.
Oh, hello.
These are our 2 emus. So nice flat hand, just like me. Otherwise, they might accidentally pinch your skin. It's very unusual, isn't it?
I know. So who's male and who's female?
So the male is the larger one who's just in front of you here, and the female's just here. So this is Edward and Elsa.
Edward and Elsa.
Edward and Elsa.
Nice meeting you both.
Yeah, so this is Australia's one of our flightless birds. So we have the emu and we also have the cassowary.
Okay.
So cassowary is kind of a little bit more of a dinosaur looking bird. But the emus, they have a feather that grows, or 2 feathers that grow from one follicle. And you can see their feathers are so beautiful just along her chest here as well. Really, really beautiful coverage. It's gonna also act as a bit of an insulator from the heat and the sun, but really cute little hairdos on top of their heads.
Yeah.
But they can run at pretty decent speeds, but is the male that is in charge of incubating all of the eggs.
The male?
The male. So the female should lay them,
Oh,
and then the
no
male
wonder.
will actually sit on the eggs and incubate them all.
For how long?
Anywhere between 60 and 70 days.
Oh.
But the entire time that he is incubating those eggs, he doesn't get up to eat, he doesn't get up to drink. He even pulls his own feathers out to make the nest more safe for the eggs. And then he will rear the chicks. So the chicks will be with him for anywhere up to about 2 years. Yeah, and he'll
What
have...
does the mum
He
do?
can have... No, nothing.
Nothing?
He'll have
You
about
lazy mama.
He can have maybe 12 of them following him around for that 2-year period.
Oh.
Yeah, and he'll teach them how to look for food, and they're going to be eating lots of grass species. They'll even eat sometimes little invertebrates that are in amongst the grass as well, but eating a lot of grassy things.
Oh, okay. Well, they
Cool
have the
little
very,
herders.
very
Yeah.
80s. Like poof.
I know, and we're going to go across and see some of our kangaroos as
Okay.
well. So we've got a red-necked wallaby here. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So this is Russell.
Russell.
So wallabies are a little bit smaller than kangaroo species.
Oh.
So I can give you a little handful of food if you'd like to hand feed him. Just hold it out nice and close to him. Oh, he's like, oh, I'm going to go past you.
Yep.
Look, Russell. Look what he's got for you.
Hello.
So Russell, he was top dog in here for a little while. So the boys are always sort of like defensive of females and territory. So they have like little sparring fights and things sometimes.
Oh, do you give them gloves?
Well, they do.
Just kidding.
They sometimes can get quite aggressive towards each other. So it just depends
Oh.
upon the individual. But usually the dominant male is a lot larger and a lot like more impressive, I suppose you could say, to
Okay.
impress all the ladies.
Oh. Is that how they get the ladies? Like,
Yeah.
And the big dog?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up and we'll go and see the kangaroos next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
No
we've got
more, Bobby.
little wallabies, and then we've also got eastern grey kangaroos, and I might give you some handfuls of food if you want to
Okay.
take. So these are eastern grey kangaroos, and you can do the same thing. You can just hand feed them a little bit. So the eastern grey kangaroos are quite a common species of macropod found throughout the east coast of Australia. There are millions of them. They are very well adapted to the landscape in Australia, but you will notice a little bit of, I guess, a few differences between the kangaroos and wallabies. So a kangaroo's facial structure is almost a little bit similar to a horse. So you'll notice their nose is like quite square in shape. So they're more designed to be eating grasses and like low-lying shrubs, whereas your wallaby species, you might have noticed with Russell, he's got like more of a pointed nose. So he's going to be eating like more plants and living in amongst forested areas rather than open grasslands. They are very efficient and can move very efficiently as well in terms of not having to use much energy to travel long distances, because it's basically like having a big spring in your leg. They just can bounce, and they can bounce for ages. And that tail sort of acts to help as a balance mechanism as well, but their tail is very strong. The tendons in a kangaroo's tail is some of the strongest of any other animal. Yeah.
So how long is the gestation period for
Good question. So
Yeah.
similar to that of a koala. So they are a marsupial, just like a koala is. So they have pouches. So the females have a pouch kind of at belly height, so kind of
Right.
about that height. And the joey will be born after roughly a 35-day gestation period, and will climb from the birth canal up into the pouch, the same as a koala. But mum will sit sometimes on her side with her tail tucked up, or sometimes resting on her back with her tail tucked through between her legs, so that she's kind of supporting that joey on its journey up into the pouch. And eastern grey kangaroos can have their joeys with them for nearly 18 months.
18 months?
Yeah, and usually the first sort of 10 to 11 months is firmly inside the pouch. So they don't even come out of the pouch at all.
No. Just inside mommy's pouch.
Yeah, and they can also do something really cool. It's called embryonic diapause. So what can happen is a female can have a joey in pouch, and then she can go into an estrus cycle, so she can fall pregnant, and then from there she can freeze the embryo, embryonic diapause,
Right.
and wait for perfect conditions when there might be more rainfall. So usually springtime is when that's going to generate, sort of encouraging mum to release that embryo.
But
and
for
give
how
birth.
long? I mean, they can pause like, wait, I'm like,
Indefinitely. Yeah, so they wait for the perfect conditions
Wow.
to have that baby.
that's really too bad for Filipinos, you know, who's waiting for the right mate or for the right partner. And then I got to witness a very rare sight. A baby albino wallaby still in its mother's pouch. He sure looked big enough to leave the crib, but his mom seemed happy to keep toting him around. Talk about a mama's boy. Seeing something so amazingly cute makes me wish I worked here, but at least it's obvious that these fine folks really do value the creatures in their care, and I give nothing but top marks to the people at Symbio. Give me a P, give me an E, give me an A. What do you got? What you got is the best source of information about life in the Philippines. I can give you the inside scoop about everything you need to know, then cheer you on as you start your overseas adventure. All I ask in return is that you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and consider becoming a patron to receive extra content and exclusive videos. And while you're waiting for the game to resume, why not check out the halftime show? I wish I had bigger pom-poms.